everyone. To promote startups, innovations, and entrepreneurship in Belagavi, KNN team has come up with a new initiative called Innovate Belagavi. Under the banner Innovate Belagavi, we have started a series of discussion called Startup Talks. Today, we have with us Ms. Chetna Sarang, who is a artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science expert, and she is the founder and CEO of Jigyasa Infonautics Belagavi. Chetna, I welcome you for the session.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
It's pleasure to be a part of your channel. Thank you.
So Chetna, tell us more about yourself and your startup journey.
Yeah, so I'm called as Chetna Sarang, like you introduced me. I have started out my venture of building talents in artificial intelligence, data science and machine learning in Belagavi and around Belagavi regions from last 2 years. Before that, I used to work as an assistant professor in Sheikh Engineering College in the Department of Electronics and Communication. From 2019 March, I started out this venture, and since then it has been a great journey from teaching line to entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what made you decide to come from this teaching line to this, again, you opening up your own institute into trainings, into these cutting edge technologies? What motivated you actually?
Quite an interesting story for me, I would like to say, because I'm the first generation entrepreneur in my family, and I was never raised to look the world into business perspective or be an entrepreneur. I was always raised to find a job, get settled, like 90% of the students are raised up.
Yeah.
That's how but somehow I wasn't interested in IT or the 9 to 5 jobs. So I thought, what other thing I would do?
Yeah.
Then one of my professors suggested I'm good at teaching, and of course teaching was my passion. One of my role models is also my teacher, school teacher. So I thought I will take up teaching. I was into teaching for 6 years. Somehow over the period I started feeling there was less of teaching and more of all the clerical work we are doing.
Okay.
I wanted to do more, explore more, and be free. So I thought I should do something, but the thing I always liked was teaching. So I thought, what would I teach? Definitely not the tuitions. So I took up this course. I got trained myself, first of all, from Bangalore's one of the analytics schools, and then started it off here in Belgaum. It has been going good from then.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice to hear your startup journey. We are curious to know what exactly this artificial intelligence, machine learning, and this data science is all about, and just let us know what is the difference between these skill sets.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question which I would like to address. So considering I'm addressing the people who are really new to this, I would like to say AI. When I say artificial intelligence, it's an umbrella term. It's a big term which covers most of the things, many things in fact. So when I say AI, it's mimicking the human behavior through machines.
Okay.
In simple lines. So it could be anything, your Siri, Alexa, Google, whatever. It could be any product, or it is some service which is replacing human. That is AI.
Yeah.
And when I say machine learning, we are training the machine. Machine stands for the crude word for computer.
Okay.
So we are training the computer to take decisions on our behalf. So all this comes into IT, like you said.
Yeah.
What is IT? IT is, and it has always been in automation. And when it comes to machine learning, how different it is. It is to automate the decision making system. Instead of human, the computers are taking the decisions. So, and it has a major impact in business. All this is built to develop business, or to make businesses more efficient.
Yeah.
Cost cutting and anticipating customers, delighting customers, all of this. And data science, when we say, so if you look at AI and machine learning, the fuel for it is data.
Okay.
Without data, there is nothing we can do.
Yeah.
And they say data is the new oil, data is the new soil, and it's true.
It's kind of playing with data, you mean to say?
Of course.
Yeah.
it's no more opinion based business. There are analytics, you are talking logics with numbers, you are taking decisions with logics, and reducing undesired efforts and saving cost and all of this. So data science is also, they are all interlinked, or they are subset of one another. I would like to say superficially. So when you actually start picking up jobs and say, people would say this is not data science, this is machine, but I don't want to show this to audience now. In simple lines, they are all interlinked, they are subsets, and they are all the same. They're all meant to just improve the business. Business domain. So no matter, many people say AI is for everyone. This is very true. Wherever there is data, there is scope to improve business. That's it. So how you harness your data into taking data driven decisions, that's up to all the organizations. So you cannot say, okay, this is mechanical engineering, this is data science. There's nothing like that. It has to be adapted by every domain. Without business domain, these concepts won't stand anywhere. So it's everybody's responsibility to adapt to these concepts or technologies.
So all are interlinked.
Yeah, definitely they are.
So as you said, most of the almost all the businesses are including these skill sets in their business thing, and it's all about making their business go good, right? And they have their back-end teams, who work on this artificial intelligence and who do this analytics thing. And almost all the students from most of the engineering colleges are preferring these skill sets nowadays, right? What do you feel like? What is the demand for these skills in the market, and what is the career scope for the students who opt for these skill sets?
Okay, these words AI, ML, data science aren't just the buzzwords. They have been the new basics, and people have to adapt them. Not just engineering students, everybody in their best possible ways try to learn them and use them. So there are around 50 job roles available in the market if you hone these skills. You can be business analyst if you are not very well off in business, in machine learning or in programming or in mathematics. There is a scope for you to be a data analyst, business analyst, and a data visualization expert. There are roles for you. And if you are keen on mathematics and algorithms, model building and programming, then you can enter second level of the depth, that is machine learning engineer, or even more if you are good at mathematics, then land up as data engineer. So there are so many roles available once you know how to handle the data.
Yes. So here I think statistics also will come in picture. Someone who is good in statistics can also opt for this roles.
It depends on what depth you want to. Basic statistics we all have learnt in school, but somehow we could not use them. But stats, it's ruled when do we use statistics? Where the data is varying. We want to conclude on that or make a decision on that. So when the data is continuously varying, we need stats. So what amount of depth you want to go into statistics, that depends on the project that you're working. But some basics we are all ought to know.
So you mean to say this, the degrees are just a gate pass for the career options, right? So anyone can choose these kind of skill sets, and they can start their career, and they can build their career into this industry, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's a sad part actually. Take any course, they just want certification. After they start working on solving some real life problems, they start realizing we didn't get any skills. Then they start learning. All learning is continuous process. The real learning happens when you're at job. So always think like you are trying to solve a problem in the society, not just for the marks. That will take you a long way, and you will end up confident right after your graduation. You need not have to struggle 2 years here and there, then get onto the job. Then you realize that I have to make difference, I have to make something work. So don't wait till then. Whatever you learn, be a problem solver in the society.
You're right. So Chetna, just let us know how many students you have trained so far.
Not just students, I have been training even professionals and also students. I have trained around 80 graduates,
Oh,
undergraduates, sorry,
great.
around 12 graduates who are looking out for job, out of which 3 are placed.
Okay.
One from civil background, he is into Andhra Pradesh, Kakinada, geology department as a data analyst and Python programmer, and one is in HCL, and the other one is in Spire Technologies.
Great.
So 3 graduates out of 12 have been placed,
Okay.
and I have trained around 20 professionals, Quest Global employees, just to upskill, and some staff of engineering colleges, Axis Bank employee, and V3 IT. So it's a blend.
Okay. So you are basically shaping the talents and building their careers, right? That's a great job what you're doing now.
Yeah, whoever I teach, they have different requirements.
Okay.
The staff, they want some research to be done in this field, or professionals who wants to be, upskill themselves to be, internal jumps in their organizations, or the students who are looking out for placements or develop a career in this industry. So the requirements of the customer segments are different, and I have been catering all these segments.
Correct. So this was much needed in this region actually. See, like most of the candidates, what they do as soon as they come out from the college, they'll just go for regular skills where the crowd is more and the payment is also less, and they'll end up in competition, and the demand is less. They'll end up, so they just take the trainings, and they'll not get jobs instantly, right? So as you said, we need to choose skill sets where the demand is high and the crowd is less, right?
Yeah, I started in this region because I observed soon after the graduation, they pack their bags, they invest huge money to settle in metro cities only to learn this.
Certificate, yeah, okay. For certifications, they'll go for metro cities.
Yeah, so and 1 week they may feel good, or 1 month maximum, because it's all very colorful life there. After that, your finances go down, you're not getting job, and it's a lot of struggle, which every North Karnataka student faces.
Yes.
So I thought the same quality of training I have been giving here, so they did not go elsewhere. So, struggle all this.
Correct.
Acquire the right skills, land confidently, equally competent to the students in metro cities, bag a job. I have been learning attitudes, and the confidence level of the students in metro and here are different. Although the people here are very strong, but they are very hesitant and they feel inferior because of various reasons. So I'm taking all the efforts, not just training onto data science. I also train them how to confidently answer the interviews in competence with the metro city students.
Great. So Chetna, so you have already told us about your startup journey, and you told us more about the skill sets and all. Just let us know what were the challenges you faced in the initial days.
Yeah, quite a lot of challenges, I would like to say. I had this major shift from being employed to entrepreneurship. So I took literally 1 year to decide to give up on the addiction of regular salary. That itself was a big decision. And then when I finally felt confident that I can start my venture, usually what happens is, I would like to talk about my background.
Okay.
I have done my BE in biomedical and masters in electronics, that is VLSI, design and embedded systems, and IT or computer science was something which I had never thought of. So I had no idea until I was trained by analytics school.
Correct.
Although I was trained, it was always comfortable to sit at my desk and work for some companies, but not training. Training is a big thing. You make a mistake and the student knows, you're gone. So training is something more challenging than working on your desktop, trying some new thing. So I was skeptical. I just thought I have to try. Usually what happens, the startup starts slow. When you announce a batch of training, hardly 2 or 3 people come, and through them you learn. learn to teach better. But in my case, what happened, the first batch itself, I got employees from Quest Global.
Oh, great.
In fact, I was nervous, I was challenged. I took it really well, although I was giving my best. Somehow over the period I felt I really had good candidates, I would have done best. But that's how it starts. We can never start saying, let me learn everything perfectly, bag a gold medal, then I will start it. It never happens. We learn through some embarrassing situations and some good experiences also. That's how it started. And the second thing, so I was really confident after having trained employees, an MNC employees. And I quit my job. I started off this full time and the floods hit. So 3 months I could not market and nobody would come. Now, who would come to, come sailing to the institute? No, it wasn't, it was really bad. I had to shut down for 3 months. Then slowly I started marketing and picking up. I attended, I offered a lot of free workshops and seminars in different colleges. It had started gaining momentum and a lot of students learned. By then the global pandemic was declared and I was clueless again.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do, because everything started moving online. Initially I felt going online, I had to have my platform, which need a lot of investment. I wasn't prepared for that, and there were bigger giants already in this field.
Correct.
Online. So I wasn't, I was clueless how to take it ahead. I just relaxed. I didn't do anything for 2 months. I kept pondering about that, waiting for the pandemic to be over. And somehow I was backed up. I started all this with one of my mentors who gave me confidence to bring up these and train people in this. I started working for him.
Very important.
In fact, because I was new to this computer science. I didn't code a line for 6 years or anywhere. I started to train. It was very challenging. I hadn't slept for days and nights, learning this, because I have to train. And somehow I started developing confidence, and my mentor had held me really strong. He had been supportive, and I've been evolving every day. But after that, during pandemic, I started working with him. Somehow the situations, unbelievable situations occurred, and he declared break of partnership. That was another blow. So after having experienced 2 natural disasters and one blow from my own mentor, so I think I have become a ferocious entrepreneur now. I don't mind any loss. Loss doesn't mean anything to me. It's just looking forward for new opportunities, and now I really don't lean on anything or anybody. Whatever comes, okay, I'm doing this. There is a pause, I'm relaxing.
Yes. So you're hoping for the best in coming days.
Definitely. You keep meeting people who can guide you. Just have that burning desire to be in your domain, and the things will definitely shape up.
So Chetna, you have any competitors for you in this region?
In this region, I haven't heard of any specific institute as training into AI and machine learning, but when I started, I think I was the only person, but now I don't claim the same. There are people who have been training, but they are not into specialized AI or machine learning. They also do AI apart from web technologies and others. They may be doing good, but the thing is, I am really confident of the specialized training I give in this domain, because the fundamentals have to be really strong. It's not just learning programming, or it's not just trying to solve 1 or 2 algorithms, build a model. It is they have to understand, it's a concept, it's not technology. Machine learning is a concept where you have to understand from the base how it builds up. All these algorithms, programming, they are just supporting tools. But what exactly you're doing when you're training a computer, it's like raising your child. You have to be very thoughtful when you're giving the data or training it. What amount of data? Machine will learn whatever you give it to it. But what you are giving to the machine to learn, the data, there you have to have those abilities to visualize the problem. The moment a problem is given, you should know this data, whether it will take me to the solution I'm expecting. Most of the times what happens, there is data, people want to do something with that. They just give some vague problem statement. But when you take the data, you are not arriving at what you want to see from the data.
Okay.
So all these skills, I train them how to just spend a lot of time in looking at the data, looking at the problem statement, then decide your path. And this is very interesting in data science. There's nothing right or wrong way to approach. There are only efficient ways to approach.
Yeah. So first you need to understand what is the problem, and then you need to give a solution for that, you mean to say.
Exactly. So come with a problem statement, then take the data. But the irony is that the companies have data, and that company is doing something with data, so let me also do something with data. Take this data, do something. That cannot be the problem statement. So, and there are multitude of training institutes across the globe who would be training, lakhs together they train, they give some data sets and all of this. But still, after you complete the course, you enter some industry, there is a problem you have to solve. You don't get that map on the mind as how this has to be directed and how to get the solution. Then there's no point. No matter 2 lakhs of course or a 20,000 course, you're not able to take it ahead.
Correct. Yeah. And Chetna, what is your USP, like unique selling point, or how do you differentiate yourself from others?
See, I told you AI is for everyone. When I say everyone, I cannot be training 10 people from 10 different backgrounds in the same way. I give customized trainings. Okay. If there are a set of computer science people, I customize the syllabus to them according to their needs. If there is a commerce student, I train them differently. I never mix these category of people because I make them confident. I don't want somebody to compare, they are doing better, I'm not fit for it. So even if a small size of batches, 2 or 3 people from BCA, 4 people from computer science and 3 people from commerce, I keep them all separate and train them and make them feel confident of what they are learning. So this has been my USP, and I customize teaching to every individual. Some people, they are zero in programming. They come with absolute no knowledge. I ensure even they are comfortable because I empathize. That's how I grew up.
Okay.
So that's my USP.
Okay, great. So what advice you want to give to the Belagavi entrepreneurs who want to start their startups and who want to come into this field of entrepreneurship?
You mean to say students?
Not students.
Any entrepreneurs?
Like fresh graduates who want to start their own startups.
Okay, before attending or advising the students, it's my sincere request to the parents of the students that if they have some idea, trust their ideas, give them the life of freedom. Don't raise them to just be slaves, because everybody, they crave for first salary. And after that they crave for promotions, and then everything, they have money, everything, then they start craving for freedom. Then they start thinking, I want to do this, and it's too late, what would I do? They're already attached to that big money flowing, they cannot come out and start any adventure. So don't just surpass those skip those 2 steps. Start the life of freedom from the beginning. So while you're young, you can struggle better. And you can take better risks, and I sincerely request the parents to support them. If they have idea, instead of spending lakhs together on some fancy or some attractive universities for further education, or it's up to them, their choice. If they really want to be at job, they want to be followers, they are good to go. I don't say everybody have to be entrepreneurs, but at least people who have spark in them, they are unique, they don't fit into any of the boxes created by the society. Let them breathe fresh air and let them explore what they want, and be free to dream what they want to do.
Yeah, so basically they should come out of their comfort zones.
Comfort zone, be it job or entrepreneurship. You have to be out of your comfort zone. That isn't the criteria to bifurcate between them. But what is that keeps you happy? Either the freedom or some regular income or secure. No, the security is a myth. There's no security anywhere, be it your entrepreneurship or jobs these days. Gone are the days where jobs were titled as secured. So whatever it is, if you, there are two paths: be a follower or be a leader. You understand in the early stages of your life in which direction you fit in.
Correct.
And go through that. And just a small idea can bring up a lot of changes. Today I am here to give interview, but 2 years back, if I had imagined, my idea was just like this: I am training people on AI. So most of, if you just drop down that idea, it's like a tuition class.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yes.
So that isn't it. That isn't the case. So when you start developing your ideas, it takes a very beautiful shape. So don't ever underestimate the idea that comes on your mind when you want to start off as entrepreneurs. And I would like to add this, especially there are many foundations, non-profit organizations like TiE Hubli. I am a part of it.
Great.
And they have been conducting a lot of activities, awareness programs and opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs, established, and also the people who want to scale up. So join such organizations and you will be benefited, and somebody is there to uplift you all the time. You get mentors, you get to pitch your business. There is a good support, and not a single day you will dare to look back on going for a job or something.
Correct.
So there is a saying, what you are made up of majorly is influenced by the 5 people or the people whom you interact every day. So when you are a part of such organizations, you keep seeing all the entrepreneurs working, and it will always keep you motivated. That is what I
So
insist.
networking is very important.
This is one thing I wanted to say. When I started off, I thought technically I have to be very strong to build my business. But later I got to know attitude matters most. Technical things are 30%.
Okay.
Attitude is 70%. I had struck out that networking. But today I say 90% is networking.
Okay.
5% is your technical thing and 5% is your attitude.
Yeah, true.
That wouldn't be an exaggeration. I have everything. I have good attitude. I have good technical skills, but I don't know to reach people.
Yeah.
So it's pointless.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Chetna. And one more thing I just want to check with you. See, like there is a brain drain which is happening, right? So from tier 2 cities like Belgavi, people are moving to urban cities, metro cities like Bangalore, Pune, and Hyderabad. So, what suggestion you want to give the fresh graduates? What they can do in Belgaum, and how can they build their career in Belgaum, and how and also like how can they open their own startups? Later, maybe it may be in any field. So what advice you want to give them?
I would like to say that if you have something to do, don't focus on the place. Focus on your dreams and ideas. No matter the place. If you're pitching it right, if you are giving it a good shape, you are investing all your efforts, be it Belgaum or Bangalore, it doesn't matter. This is my own example.
Okay.
If I started a training institute in Bangalore, I would have had a number of people there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make some difference in the place where I am. The learning abilities of the students here are entirely different.
Yes.
If you put those metro students here and them, it's not a right way to do. It will lower down their confidence. So I want, and the other thing I would like to say is, I don't want this AI and machine learning things as a luxury learning.
Okay.
It should reach all the rural and semi-urban areas. That is my prime goal.
Okay.
I want to reach as many places as possible, because data is not a luxury thing, it is basic, and based on the data you are able to make decision, be it a small shop, a grocery shop, or a big company like Infosys. They need to analyze their data. So these skills, whether you have computers or not or whatever, I don't want this to be a luxury learning.
Okay.
I want it to be a basic learning, and I wish to reach a lot of rural places and propagate this.
That's great. And Cheta, just let us know what are your future plans, and what are you planning for some investments, or are you looking for some co-founders with you? So what are your future plans?
Yeah, I've started making plans now. As I said, I'm out from all the blows that I had.
Okay.
So, the first of all, the thing is, I would like to expand my teaching and trainings to North Karnataka region, for which I cannot be doing it alone. I cannot be training everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I would like to build a team. I would like to train them
Okay.
the way I am training without compromising on the quality, and then expand, because the resources, when I want to have one institute in Sankeshwar, one institute in Bijapur, elsewhere, so I need to have resources.
Yeah.
So I need to develop networks, and then at any point I should ensure, when I am expanding, the holistic learning and this teaching is not lost.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward for
quality of training is not
yeah.
lost. Okay.
So don't get swayed away by the batch size,
Yes.
100 people,
Yes.
nothing like that.
Certifications.
Yeah, I'm solely concentrating on the word of mouth. When even one person I train, if she or he goes out, should say, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
And when you start expanding, we start losing focus. So I don't want that to happen.
Correct.
I definitely want to expand and reach all the possible North Karnataka places,
Okay.
rural and semi-urban places, 2 tier cities, and bring them up in these technologies.
Great. So we wish you all the best for this your expansion plans. And then my last question for you, Chetna. So how we can promote innovation, entrepreneurship, and startups in Belagavi?
Okay, not just in. Okay, you mean to say in.
In general, yeah, anything. How we can promote entrepreneurship and startups in Belagavi?
Start with colleges.
Okay.
In colleges, they do wonderful projects, but they limit it only to marks.
Yeah.
No, they want good marks, they want to be graduates, and that's it. So whenever there are some good projects, take them as a product.
Yeah.
And try to see how it can help. See, when you are graduate, you want to go out, you also check on the companies, their hiring patterns, their recruitment processes and all that. If you want to take your product ahead or your idea ahead, start searching, doing your research in entrepreneurial aspects as well. Like be a member of there is one youth leader, what they call is tie for young entrepreneurs. There is a hub where all the students are there.
Yeah.
So try to think on those lines. Who can support you? Who can mentor you? Make your ideas nurture. What are the programs available? Start thinking in that direction. Don't have an idea and start thinking, I want job in this company. You cannot be sailing in two boats.
Yeah.
So if you have decided to pitch your product or idea, then think, what are the scope? The government is granting a lot of funds. So many things are available. MSME is supporting. So think and do your research on that line. So you will be, there's nothing. Being an entrepreneur is such a liberating experience. I tell you.
Yes.
Coming from the job background,
Yeah.
you can work, tirelessly. And you don't feel a pain of it because it's all yours. You're not working for anybody. And someday you want to take a break, you need not have to apply leave for somebody, ask permission. Just go, pack your bags, go.
Okay.
Do multiple things. So it's a liberating experience, but at the same time it's a mindset. Sometimes you feel you're the king of or the queen of your word. Sometimes you feel you're good for nothing. So all these things are bound to happen, but truly it's a liberating experience. Be an entrepreneur, give shape to your ideas. Good mentor is really important. When I say good mentor, appropriate. No mentors are bad, but choose an appropriate mentor who can give shape to your ideas.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster ride, you mean to say. Yeah.
It's more emotionally than finances.
Yes. Definitely. As you said, like government is helping the entrepreneurs with grants and all. So definitely people should choose this that they can.
With Atmanirbhar and all these, there are a lot of scope, skill development. There's a lot of scope for the students if they just have an idea.
Correct.
They have to harness it and believe in their ideas.
Yeah.
And again, I say, parents, please support your kids if they want to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember in pandemic, even my parents said, I think you should stop all this.
Okay.
When you know so much about data science, why don't you go and bag some job? They say a lot of things. But I want to be in teaching.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Chetna, thank you so much for joining us today. So it was nice having you in KNN office, right? We wish you all the best for your future plans and endeavors.
Thank you so much, Harish. It was great pleasure addressing all your viewers, and hope this program becomes a big hit. I'm sure it will. Good luck to you as well. It was really a pleasure being here and a matter of pride. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chetna. It was brilliant talking to you. Yeah, this was all about today's Startup Talks. This is Harish Kumar signing off. Next week we'll meet up with another entrepreneur. Until then, take care.